downloads your information, and then if he ever does smite you, your family gets some. It's like life insurance, right? The family ends up being taken care of, but you do end up going a few levels below the intended level of afterlife. So, say you were. What's the word? Say that you were meant to go to the second level of heaven. If you have this insurance, then you might go 3 levels below, right? And if you're on second level of heaven, that would be first level, purgatory, first level of hell. So you would end up going to hell, right? So really, insurance is really good for those who are either really high at the top or already sort of in the bottom, right? So that you don't have to worry about. Oh, hello there. Oh, how are you doing, darling? Oh, I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing absolutely fabulous. I mean, I am dead and you are talking to a ghost, but other than that, really, I am doing wonderful. Thank you for meeting me here. Oh, yes, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about my untimely demise. That is, of course, I didn't want to upset you. I know how unstable you might be sometimes, so I decided that perhaps this isn't something that you need to know about, you know? But regardless, I do have a wee favour to ask. So, as you see, when I died, it was an unsavoury death, an untimely death, you know. I wasn't ill or anything of the sort. So, I did end up talking to God. Well, at first, I was bloody happy. You know, finally I get some rest. You know, I'm not working these odd hours trying to solve every last murder, every last crime. And, you know, it really weighs on the soul, you know, constantly having to be the bad guy. So I decided that I may as well just try and be a different person in the afterlife. But, you know, the afterlife has not treated me very well, I must say. When I was trying to do my own thing, I did encounter God. He's a lovely chap, I must say. But he had heard of my accomplishments on Earth, and I was honestly surprised because there's a lot of people here. But unfortunately, he tasked me with solving my own murder. Now, see, I didn't want to do this. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, I died. I didn't really see anything, and you know, and you're my best friend, so I just wanted to explain everything to you. But regardless, I am taking note of everybody that I've ever known in my life, just to see who has motives, just to see who might be a suspect, you know, nothing too out of the ordinary. And please, you two have nothing to worry. I know that we are tight, you know, so there's nothing really to worry about. But regardless, how about we get started, right? Let me ask you a few questions. Now, I know everything about you already, but God is always listening, and what I have heard is that, you know, he has to rummage through all of the information of every person alive, everything that's alive. That includes bacteria, that includes trees, moss, animals, fish, even. Like, there's a lot that he has to go through, you know, so I'm just going to try and make it a little bit easier so that when he has all this information, he can see, like, oh, this person was innocent, right? Right, you understand, of course. So, how about we get started? I do have a few questions. Let's just see here. Where did I put my questions? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's all me. How are you doing, darling? You're great? Okay, that's perfect. That's wonderful, you know. Oh, it's been like a wonderful time for you. Oh, that's great. I know you've been having such a hard time lately, you know, with everything that's been going on, you know. Yes, I know that The Bachelor did not end up with the woman that you wanted, but regardless, I thought that it impacted you a bit too much. But I'm glad that you're alright. Okay, perfect. Anyway, so I am going to ask you all this, and this is this is binding under the covenant of God. So please understand that if you lie, he will smite you himself. Yeah, so this won't come on. Oh, all right, perfect. Anyway, your name. All right, yes, that's what I know. And your age. Okay. A little bit older than you told me last time. Well, yes, people do age with time, but it's a couple of years off. Are you ashamed of your age? Interesting. Yeah, your birthday was recently, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, next we're going to have your relation to me. Now, I can write down best friend, close friend. Okay. I'm going to say that hurts a little, but, that's right. People move on once you've died. I must be okay with that. What's your occupation? And last I heard, you were doing... Oh, you moved on? Okay. All right. Wonderful. You got yourself a respectable job now. Great. All right. Insurance? Oh, well, yes, of course. You need insurance for this kind of stuff. And if this is merely formality, you see. When I was talking to God, he was really thinking about... when he does smite people, it really puts a lot of the people's families, whoever he smites, that they become in debt. And it's quite unfortunate. So he set up this system of insurance that you probably have. He's given it to multiple people, and you should have filled out the form online. And I'm not really sure how exactly it works, but you put your information online, he downloads your information, and then if he ever does smite you, your family gets some... It's like life insurance, right? The family ends up being taken care of, but you do end up going a few levels below the intended level of afterlife. So say you were... what's the word? Say that you were meant to go to the second level of heaven. If you have this insurance, then you might go 3 levels below, right? And if you're in second level of heaven, that would be first level, purgatory, first level of hell. So you would end up going to hell, right? So really, insurance is really good for those who are either really high at the top or already sort of in the bottom, right? So that you don't have to worry about it too much. Yes. Okay. So I'll just write this down, and then you can work on that later. That's fine. Okay, and who's your emergency contact? Of course, we need that kind of information. I'm just going to put myself. I know I'm the only one that really matters to you. I know you've demoted me, but I do feel like this is a bit important. So let's just put that down. Okay, and what is your maiden name? Oh no, not that kind of name. No, we want to know, what name did you go by when you were a maid, right? When you were cleaning. Okay, yes. Perfect. And if and when you die, what will be your ghost name? Everybody knows that you change names once you become a ghost. It's why there's always this really weird thing where people who are alive and people who are dead, sometimes they don't recognize each other. It's because the name gives the ghost a new identity, So what would be your new name? Okay. I could totally do that, yeah. That's wonderful. It's wonderful, yes. Okay, well... can you tell me if you believe in a spiritual power, a higher power, or what kind of religion do you believe in? Okay, yes, wonderful. That's lovely for you. Okay, perfect. Okay, now can you tell me your personal biases? Well, yes, of course. There are many people with your name, many people with your relation to me, and many people of your occupation. This is really one of those things where God is God is swamped with the amount of people that he's created. Like, to be honest, I think it's gotten a little out of hand. So he really needs a bit of information to sort of, connect the mind to the material. And, I did talk to him. I was like, you could use the cloud. I hear they're doing wonderful things. But he doesn't. He really passed on the idea, it's not the right time, the money isn't really liquid at the moment. So I'm just going to write down a few things that I know about you, unless you have something in terms of personal biases. Okay. And could you tell me the second that you were born? Yes, we don't want your date, we want the exact second. And this is the exact second of when existence was first created. So it would be sort of a list of numbers, but if you could repeat that to me. Okay. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Now, if you could tell me what your favourite reality is. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good reality to spend some time in, but I found when you stay within that reality, things get to be a bit, I get a bit queasy, It's all wonderful to be in a reality where you're surrounded by people that want to date you, but sometimes it just doesn't feel right. But anyway, last question, and this one was a new addition, apparently. God added it. Summer. Yay or nay? Yay? Unfortunately, that is the incorrect response. He does not like summer. I know, I think his biggest regret was creating the sun. Anyway, now that that is done, I'm going to have to now ask you about my death, right? So, a little bit of backstory. You are my best friend, so I'm not too worried about divulging a few details. I am an utter professional, but when it comes to my own death, I think I want to approach it a little bit differently. I don't want to do the same old. I don't want to masquerade as being alive. So if I work on this, let's say here. So first question is, where were you when I was murdered? Yes, I know that you said that you didn't know where I was, but so I was murdered 2 weeks ago on the dot. Where were you on that date? Yes, think back. Okay, you were clubbing. Wow, that's great. You don't really go out that much. And where were you? Where was this club? Okay. Is that new? Ah. Was the grand opening. Why was I not invited? I know that I'm a bit of a bore. I put my, I'm constantly ahead in the papers, but I can have fun. That's bollocks, is what I have to say. Anyway, how drunk were you? Okay, you were very drunk. All right. That's not to worry, one sin over the other, like drinking. God knows a lot, and so he knows what you've done, I'm sure. Anyway, oh no, yes, this is God trying to get all this information. It's definitely not me trying to enact vengeance upon somebody. No. Anyway, so you were very drunk. How many drinks do you think you had? Okay. Oh, you're lightweight too, so you must have been beaming. You must have been bouncing off the walls. Oh, question. Are you on any medication? Okay. Any SSRIs? Okay. Okay. And what particular medications? I know it feels a bit invasive, but it's one of those things I need to be very, very thorough. If I'm not, then you may not have killed me, right? I seriously doubt that you would have killed me. We're best friends after all. However, someone near you might have killed me, right? Someone that we both know. So it's imperative that I know exactly where you were and what information I can gather from you. So if you could please stop with the little snark that you're doing and answer my questions so that we can actually get on with it. Okay. Yes, so you've got... Alright, and I'm thinking... Well, that question isn't really necessary now, is it? Yes. Okay, well, so next is going to be, do you have access to my house? Now, I know the answer to this, but... Okay, you do? Okay. I thought I had you hand in a key. Okay, so you had a copy made. Why is that? You've been stealing my food. I knew it. Every time I opened the fridge, I would see my ice cream would be gone, my chicken would be gone, my kale. Why would you take kale? My word, you're a rabbit. I knew it. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Now this is the investigative journalism that needed to happen today. Yes. Okay, so how well versed are you in my work? Yes, I'm trying to establish a motive here. I know you know... Oh, not much? Interesting. I talked about my work with you a lot, or I did at least. You didn't listen. Interesting. Now that God is listening, you're now spilling all the secrets now. I see that. Okay, so, how about your mentor? How's your mentor doing? It's doing well? Okay. That's good. And how often did you visit me? It was pretty often, right? I would say pretty often. Okay, pretty good. Yes, you visited me pretty often. So you visited me pretty often. You knew, you had access to my house. You were constantly there. But that night in particular, you were clubbing, so you weren't aware. You got very drunk, so you likely didn't really have any opportunity to see me, / you were doing your own thing, right? I'm sure you were dancing on the dance floor and, shaking your booty and whatnot. This is a question. God made me put this in. Have you ever felt jealousy towards me? Interesting. Okay, yes, you did. But why? You thought that my career was booming and yours wasn't? That, I can't blame you. That was in fact true. Okay. I thank you for your honesty. Now. Okay, well, there's just a few more things I need to do, right? I need to bring you into the ghostly world. Not really into the ghostly world. I just need to be able to touch you because I need to examine your body. Is that all right with you? Okay, perfect. Yes, I just need to... It's just a slight examination, right? So I'm going to start on your page here. And what I'm going to write here is examination. Okay. Okay then. So to do that, we're going to need to do the incense process. This is kind of similar to when you want to speak to the dead, except it's really, really simple, really. I already preloaded this with a bit of charcoal and, just a bit of bahur. I'm not sure you know what that is. I know you did not really think a lot about my culture, really. But regardless, I don't have any feelings about that. I definitely don't hold any grudges. I would never hold grudges against anybody in my life. But if I were, that would be a grudge that I would hold. Regardless, I'm just going to do that. Make sure that this is nice and ready. Okay. There's going to be a lot of incense coming up, right? So I'm going to put that on. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be right to the degree. So if you just don't mind me trying to, I've got really shaky hands now. Death will do that to you. Alright, so let it waft right into you, right? Oh yes, it's gonna feel amazing, but don't lean in too hard into it, because if you do, you might actually die. So just... Yes, don't worry, no one's died from this. Not yet anyway, but... Regardless, you are my best friend, and I know you've had nothing to do with this. This is all just a formality. Simple, simple formality. Okay, and then just a little bit more here. And perfect. And so now that I can interact with you, we're going to use this special rock. This is filled with energy, right? This has very intense godly energy. I'm just going to rub it on you, and what this is going to do is it's going to really scrape a lot of the data that you have, just in case there's something lingering in your subconscious. And while I do that, I'm going to really be mulling over the information that you've given me while I'm examining you, to really corroborate what it is that you told me, right? So if you could stay still, I'm just going to... There we go. And then perfect. Yes. So now, as I examine you, I just need to think about my best friend going out to a club without me, getting belligerently drunk, and not even texting me about it. The nerve of you. I'm miffed, really. But that's alright, I can forgive you for that. But there are a few things that I feel like I can't forgive when people do it. And as I'm examining you, I must say, there's a bit... I'm scraping the data, and I'm really... So I have a question for you. You said that you came to my house every day, or at the very least, very frequently. So how was it that you said when we first met today that you didn't know that I was dead? Surely the food that you were eating from my fridge would not have been restocked. Isn't that right? Oh, don't get nervous. And don't worry. The thing that I did, and that wafted over you, yes, it did put you into a trance so that you couldn't leave. So regardless, I just need to let you know that it was you that killed me, because if you're on medications for SSRIs, you shouldn't be drinking with it. So if you were drinking with it, you may have gotten more drunk than you expected. And since you are jealous of me, as you so admitted, I suspect that you came into my house with the key that you had copied, came in specifically just to take some of my food, but saw that I had gotten up from a bad dream and was just walking about. You might have been frightened, right? You might have thought that someone else was in the home that wasn't supposed to be there, because I was supposed to be sleeping. And so you took a knife and you stabbed me in the chest. Now, isn't that right? Okay. See, I knew I would get the truth out of you. But that's alright, I do forgive, and I have it in my heart. Honestly, being dead has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. So really, I need to thank you. And you didn't do it maliciously, right? Now, if this were the old me, I would have said, well, okay, it's time for me to, give you to the authorities and whatever. But I've changed, I don't need to give you to the authorities. I just want to give you a little spook, right? So this actually did scrape some of the data, so I will have to give this to God. I will try to make my case for you to him to not smite you, because he is so apparently he gave me a very brilliant mind, and he doesn't want me to have died too early, right? But it's unfortunate, right? So anyway, The effects of the spell will in fact wear off in a little bit, so don't worry about that. Go about your day. I'm just going to vanish, and then when I come back, you'll either have been smited and you'll be in the afterlife with me, or you'll just go about your merry day and I'll just be haunting you. Well, alright then. Bye-bye.